Our 3-wash plants are already up and running. To see what it's all about, go to that oak goldway at the end of. Everyone is going to be under a lot of stress this week, but it's the only way I can see to get close to $10,000 down this season. Parker Schnabel hates losing, and right now he's staring down a financial black hole at Dominion Creek, 9 weeks into the mining season. Parker owes $2.5 million and only has $1 million in the bank. That's the kind of math that keeps a gold miner up at night. His season goal was a jaw-dropping 10,000 of gold, but so far he's only been able to scrape together $1,700. That's not even the first of what he needs. At this rate, he's doomed to financial disaster, and he knows it. So what does Parker do when he's in a tight spot? He doubles down or triples down. Even Parker's most experienced workers aren't sure about his decision to run 3 wash plants at the same time. Keeping 1 wash plant running smoothly is hard enough. Keeping 3 running without breakdowns is just asking for chaos. But Parker has no choice. If he doesn't quickly increase production, he'll end the season with a huge debt and a bad reputation. For the first time all season, Parker's entire operation was pushed to its limits. If there was any thaw, that was great. Otherwise, we need to get some money coming in because we're going to be broke soon. The stakes had never been higher, and over the course of a hard 7-day run, his whole crew was locked in a battle to keep every machine running at full capacity. The air was filled with the noise of engines, conveyor belts grinding, and dirt constantly rubbing against metal. For the first time, both the Big Red and Bob wash plants worked together. This wasn't just a high-output test run, it was a last-ditch effort to save the season. Parker's finances were so bad that they crushed him totally. Each plant had its own job to do, and if even one of them failed, the whole plan would fall apart. Parker's best wash plant was fed premium paid dirt from the long cut. The most solid evidence for the claim it was the kind of gravel that miners dream about, the kind that has thick gold streaks just ready to be found. But high hopes didn't always lead to high yields, and if something went wrong with the processing, that rich dirt would be nothing but wasted potential. Meanwhile, at Big Red, things weren't looking nearly as good. The plant was working through the top layer of pay gravel from the bridge cut, which was dangerous for one main reason: the top layers of pay dirt were notoriously unreliable. Sometimes they had hidden pockets of gold, and other times they were just filler that wasn't worth the fuel it took to haul them to the plant. That's not good. It makes me think, the Indian River wasn't so bad. Parker was essentially taking a chance on the unknown, hoping that deeper cuts in the area would eventually yield something useful. On the other hand, Bob was working on Keenan Stewart's part of the claim, which was not high risk, high reward ground or Big Red's uncertain top layer material. Instead, Bob was working with moderate grade pay dirt. Not the kind that would make you rich overnight, but at least steady. It wasn't flashy or exciting, but in a season full of uncertainty, it was the only safety net Parker had. The whole operation was a balancing act, and every part had to work perfectly for this strategy to work. The loaders had to deliver steady, uninterrupted truckloads of dirt to each plant. The screens and slows had to stay clear of blockages, and the team had to be on their toes all the time. Toes, keeping an eye on everything would fall apart with just one breakdown, mistake, or mechanical failure, and Parker couldn't afford that with so much money at stake. Now, let's talk about details for a moment. Running 3 wash plants isn't as easy as just turning them on. They need a steady supply of pea dirt, which means a steady stream of rock trucks carrying thousands of tons of material to keep them fed. If even one truck breaks down or grinds to a halt, you lose precious time and have to work even faster, which can cost tens of thousands of dollars in lost gold. Parker's risky plan paid off, as he and his crew just recovered 586 ounces of gold worth about $15 million. This is a huge win and by far the biggest cleanup of the season. Bob was the best machine, delivering 37 ohms all by itself. Not bad for a machine that's been ignored by Big Red for years. Big Red, Parker's workhorse, pulled in 74.9 ohms, showing that even the top-level pay at the bridge cut has some value. Roxanne delivered 27.40, which, to be honest, is kind of embarrassing for a plant that uses premium dirt. There's a lot more waste in this area than we expected. I bet there's at least 5 feet of waste here because I've run into 8 feet of big core rock down here. I don't know how long this will take you, but there's a lot of gravel. Either the ground isn't right or the plant isn't running efficiently. 586 ohms is a huge step in the right direction. Let's quickly do some math. Parker needs 10,000 ohm for the season. Even if he did twice as much work every week, he'd still be over 3,000 ohm short. This is a much-needed win, but it's not even close to enough to guarantee a good season. Now let's talk about the unsung heroes of any mining operation. The granite trucks. Without these beasts, Parker's operation would not be able to keep up with the new 3-plant setup. Parker brought in the S60 rock trucks, which are the biggest haulers on the site. These monsters can carry 20 tons more paid dirt than the older 40s, which should theoretically double how well they haul, but there's a catch. Bigger machines break down more often. First, one of the 60 trucks lost its tailgate in the middle of the haul. There was no warning, no lights, just a huge metal door falling off in the middle of a dirt road. The crew had to rip off the whole tailgate to keep the truck going. Things then got worse. Another 60-ton truck that was full of dirt flipped over on a soft bank, hanging 50 tons of metal and rocks over the edge of a steep drop. If they made one mistake, that truck would have gone right into the creek below. It was the most stressful recovery operation of the season. The crew had to carefully lower the truck's box to move its center of gravity and then use an excavator to push it back onto all 4 wheels. One mistake and everything could have gone horribly wrong. And don't forget the people who are actually running the machines. Running 3 wash plants at once is insane, and Chris Dumit, who is in charge of the gold room, is feeling it the most. The poor guy already spends hours weighing, cleaning, and smelting gold from one plant, and now he has to deal with 3 times as much concentrate. We're in trouble if we don't do something about it. We have a long road to hoe. We have 3 wash plants, yes, 3 big wash plants rolling away, and they're finding less gold than one plant did last year. You can see the fatigue setting in. The crew is on fumes and the pressure is only rising. Parker knows that if he doesn't balance workloads and keep people from getting burned out, mistakes will happen. In gold mining, even a small mistake can cost thousands of dollars in unprocessed gold. Porter just did the biggest cleanup of the season, but he's still a long way behind plan. Having 3 wash plants has shown that it can work, but can he keep it up week after week without a disaster? One big problem and he could lose a week's worth of work. One tired worker makes a mistake and gold is left behind. One bad choice and the whole business could fail. Parker is putting all of his eggs in this 3 wash plant approach. With 6 weeks left in the season, the next few weeks will show whether this is the biggest comeback in the history of the gold rush or Parker Schnabel's biggest mistake. One thing is for sure, he's not going to slow down anytime soon.